Just like school, Well, welcome everyone to another Wednesday morning roundtable. We're fortunate to have a great panel here this morning. We often talk with nonprofit agencies around the county. Today we have a couple of support agencies to those nonprofit agencies, and we're going to hear from the Human Services Coalition and the United Way. We have with us this morning Vicki Shepherdson. Vicki Shepherdson, Shepherdson. She comes to us with from the Human Services Coalition. I'm sorry. She's director. She's formerly director of Cuba Onondaga Teacher Center, and she's a graduate of Leadership Cuba. She's the class of 2013. She tells me that's the best class ever. I can't afford that talking to other people, but she's also on the board of directors of Neighborhood House, and she's a graduate of DuPage. She's got a bachelor's there and a master's at State University of Buffalo. We also have with us Dr. Larson, Dr. Daniel Larson, who is the former president of Duke Community College and very much involved in economic development in the community, and I think many of us know Dr. Larson. We also have with us Carrie Collins-Fidel, who is the new chief at the United Way. She's joined the United Way in May of 2013. She's been professionally involved with nonprofits for about 16 years. She started out as a legislative aide for a U.S. Senator, and later as Chief of Staff for State Representative David Woodward. She's worked with the American Heart Association. Most recently, she came to us from the Alzheimer's Association in the Detroit area. And she's served 6 years as a State Public Policy and Communications Director for the Alzheimer's Association. And so that's our panel for today. We're going to start out with Vicki Shepherdson. I got the name right this time, thank you. And she's going to talk about the Human Services Coalition. So Vicki, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much to the committee for inviting me to share some information today about the Human Services Coalition. This is my second year, going into a little bit more into a year. The coalition is all about collaboration, communication among the agencies, and sharing information in community needs. And we've been in existence for 20 years. We're going into our 28th year, and we're hoping to have some type of celebration. We have a coordinating council, and our chair, Susan Martini, at the present time. After today, I'm not sure, because we have elections, but and Tim Donovan Tim represents the coalition as a community member. So I will talk about membership in a minute, but we have 3 task groups, and some of you have served on the task groups maybe at one time or another, or you have agency members that come. And the nice thing about the task groups, it's not always the director or the coordinator. It can be someone from the staff that comes to the task groups. And the task groups are really something very much like this, that we discuss issues, we work to see what the community needs are. Somebody might connect, making connections about a program, and I can do this, you can do that type of thing. So a lot of that happens. We have the adult community task force, we have the elderly disabled, and the children and families. And that's really the meat of the coalition, because they're the ones that are out there seeing what's going on, seeing what's happening, and bringing it back to the table. Each coalition meets once a month, and anybody is a member or actually not a member can come to a task force meeting. We're known for the Community Service Directory, the Living in Cuba County. And this is a wonderful collaboration between the citizen, and it's been going on for several years. And the other piece that you may or may not know, that the Seneca Cuba ARC Day Habilitation Program delivers the directories, other than the ones that I do. And this has been going on for several years, but this year I kind of increased their delivery tasks. So they've been doing a great job, and they love to help in the community. If any of you have jobs that you need to do, by all means, contact the Day Have program at Seneca CUDA ARC. The other publications are the Help Now app, which that's in the process of being redone. I know I've had several requests for, I need more Help Now maps, but it's taken a while to get the corrections and get it updated, because I think it came out in 2008, 9, around in there, and many things have changed. Locations, there's some agencies that have been added, that type of thing. So that's in the process. The adult community has worked very hard on this, and hopefully it will be done shortly. And then volunteer listings are being updated. We are also working on a new kind of publication called the support group. There are many support groups in our county, and you can see those listed in the Citizen, but we're trying to make it more of a comprehensive list, so it covers north to south in the middle, and that should be coming out early 2014. Our Youth is another publication that the Children and Family Resource Committee worked on, and that's full of youth resources. And then Sharing Your Wishes, I left a few of those up at the table just because you might want to share it with somebody else, or you might want it for yourself. There are other packets, and this was done a few years ago with a grant from the Health Foundation of Central New York, and those are very, very, very useful. When I go to community fairs, those things are taken immediately. Besides the directory collaboration, we have Jumpstart 10, which some of you are a part of that. That's a program that is done in the early spring at Cuba Community College, and what it does is bring 10th graders from all the school districts up to the college for a day of career building, leadership skills, and then my piece that I'm responsible for is the volunteers. And I invite groups to come. The criteria is that you have to be able to accept a volunteer age 16 and over. So, like Pam's been up there, I'm trying to get a cross-section of who's, but there are many, the groups that work with youth focus on volunteers. Like I said, age 16 and over is very important. And then they take it on from there. They go around and collect literature. They have an opportunity to speak with the directors or staff, and then they make their decisions. So it's a very, very nice day. This also has been going on for several years. And last year was my first time, and this year I hope to increase some more agencies and get some more opportunities for youth to volunteer. I'm very happy to announce today that we have received a $44,000 grant from the Health Foundation of Central and Western New York. The two foundations combined about 4 years ago, and they focus on counties in Western New York and then in Central New York. And our Cuba County Falls Prevention Coalition has been awarded the grant, and we will start implementing the programs starting in January. It involves the Office for the Aging, Long-Term Connects, and Staff Kings in Home Instead. And then there's several other auxiliary agencies that are going to be involved. There's about 6 of them, and it's a countywide project. We're covering the north, the midsection, and the south. So that's a very exciting venture for the county to have this program for preventing falls, falling down. How many of us have fallen? Focused on the elderly, but it has good information for everyone. And we have involved the Cato Rec Center in the north, the Y here in the Central Park, and then Valley Wellness Center. It's a new wellness center in Moravia, which will be offering courses to the community in strength and balance, because part of the requirements for the grant are you have to have community education, you have to have home safety, and you have to have an exercise balance component. And we are adding a physician's piece where we will hopefully get into physician's office to give them literature, to have them participate. This is a huge challenge for us, but we think we can make it work. And then just a little bit about membership. We have community members, and their membership is $10 a year. We have an organizational membership, which is $40 a year. We have some agencies that are supporting, and they provide $100 a year. And then we have some we have for-profits, which their membership is $65. Things that provide home care, those kinds of are for-profit. And moving on, we are excited about the collaboration, and it's an 18-month project. And then we were planning to do something for the 20th year. And also, I would like to see more collaborations where we can get grants to work jointly with programs throughout the community. And that could be, with children, youth, family, adults, poverty, which I know you had last month. So, I'm always on the hunt for those kinds of activities. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas, feel free to ask me. There's directories up front, there's some membership information, and there's sharing your wishes. And thank you again.
I'm next. Good morning, everyone. Community Indicators is a process that is nearly a century old. It actually started under auspices of the Russell Sage Foundation back in about 1910. So it's not something that is necessarily new. Over the last many years, though, much of what communities have done about indicators and research has dealt with economic development. And that's fine, because that's been important to us as communities. But in the last decade or so, maybe the last 15 years, there's been a real movement toward looking at more holistic measures across the entire community. So about 4 years ago, the United Way of Cuyahoga County, as a part of its move from a funding agency to an investing agency, if you will, and there's some real nuance there about the impact of what the resources that are given by the community to the United Way are able to accomplish. The move then was to begin to look at those quantifiable and qualitative indicators across Cuyahoga County that would enable our partner agencies to have greater impact upon the needs of our community. And so to do that, the decision was made to put together a community indicators project. And we worked with a firm out of Rochester, CGR, that has tremendous background and history with that kind of research, and plowed through probably 200 or 300 different indicators that could be pulled together that covered things such as health of the community, educational levels, economics, travel, industry, just an entire range of things that could be of importance to us. And from that, identified a set of 70 indicators that we could use to pull together from all sorts of sources those data, those pieces of information that could be helpful to our partner agencies. We put that together in a website, which I know many of you have looked at. If you Google it, you'll find it under CuyagaSenecaProfile.org. And it's a very robust, deep set of data that has been updated that provide opportunity and information for partner agencies across the entire community to see exactly what the health of our community, our city, our county are all about. We launched that about 3 or 4 years ago with a lot of community input. Many of you were part of those meetings. Many of you have used that site. It's been very beneficial not only to the United Way, but to all the agencies that are a part of this community. If you were to Google Community Indicators Project, you would find literally dozens and dozens and dozens of projects across this country that have moved in that direction. Carrie has much more detail that I know she wants to share about all of that. Carrie.
Absolutely, thank you. I'm new to your area, so I was a user of this website before I even joined you in Cayuga County, because when I was considering the offer, I looked at statistics, crime statistics, violent crimes, property crimes, to choose the community, that, know more about the community that I was moving into. So I thought that was kind of neat. What we have here is the Community Indicators website we're going to talk about. And really, the data it gives you an apples to apples understanding of local trends. So when you look at the website, it's going to tell you graduation rate. How does Cayuga County compare with state average, national average, and probably most importantly to us, surrounding communities. So it can tell you those trends. As Dr. Larson mentioned, the data is maintained by CGR. It's the Center for Governmental Research in Rochester. There was a partial update in 2013. So of the 70 indicators that were chosen, we did a partial update in Cayuga County. And we can always add additional indicators too as things come up. Agricultural indicators are a goal for us to add going forward. Different communities handle their community indicators website in different ways. Not every community has one. If you look at Onondaga County, they have, because of a business school in Syracuse, they have a unique opportunity to work with that business school. There's an entire course where the student coursework is surrounded around updating their Central New York vitals Onondaga County website. So that's not something that we have here at this time. So we do work through that CGR to do the updates. And why it is important for communities to invest in community indicators, I think you have a general sense of that. It really allows people to talk about nonprofits and program providers to talk clearly about the impact of their programs, and also funders to target their limited resources. Community indicators within the profile don't tell you anything brand new and earth-shattering, but they really allow the community to kind of cool out, or to kind of come around an issue, to understand the magnitude of it. So there might be something out there that you think is a problem, teen suicide, maybe it's been in the news a lot, or you wonder smoking cessation. But if you jump on the indicators website, it really allows you to understand the magnitude of the problem, both the recent data and also maybe a 10-year look back of that. And the website isn't going to tell you everything. An example is the smoking rate. I looked up smoking rates this week, and there wasn't exact data on that, but it did lead you to other sources. So if we can go to the next slide. This is the 7 main topic areas of the community profile site. And within each topic, there are going to be specific indicators, and the data is going to be displayed in tables, charts, analysis, and information about the data, definitions, and also the limitations of the data and the sources. And this is really a detailed site because we do partner with with the for-profit agency. And it's really interesting because as you're looking through it, you can really mine down into the data and see, where you can go different ways on that. And the data limitations is always interesting to me too. A while ago, I volunteered with a nonprofit in Texas. They worked to prevent childhood drownings. Drownings is the #1 cause of accidental death for children under 4. Because they were in an area where they had a large hospital system, kids in 3-county area that had a near drowning or a fatal drowning episode were all came in through the same healthcare system. So that nonprofit that worked to prevent that knew by zip code where that was happening. They could target the hot spots, and they could actually go out and flyer and give parents information in 3 areas. One was the prevalence of it, that it is the #1 cause of death. The second is information and education on it. So what does a drowning look like? It's not like in the movies where people are thrashing around. Sometimes someone can slip quietly under the surface. And then a plan. Oddly, the more people that are watching children in a body of water, the more likely there is to be an episode, because everyone is distracted and thinks it's going to be someone else that's really carefully paying attention. So with the little packet, they gave them a bracelet and said, if you have this bracelet, you are the person in charge. If you check your phone or go to the restroom, you need to hand this bracelet to another adult. With that, because of the hospital system being so large, they actually knew, months later what the outcome of that had been. Not every piece of data we look at has that ability to, where you can see that reaction so quickly. But if we want to spin through the next slide, we'll look at, so when you're on the website, this is what the data analysis section is going to look like. So each of those is going to have the analysis, the charts, and the table. So there's an example of 8th grade math scores by economic stats. So you can see clearly some of the disparities coming through as far as economic level. And then if we want to go to the next one, that's going to be a data table. And then to the next one, there's going to be the chart example. So you have data from 2000 a lot of times up to 2013 for some of the indicators that have been recently updated. So there's student performance on grade 3 English. So if we have a reading program, we can look and see, at what point since we started that program, are reading levels being impacted? Do we need to do more? What grade, etc. And the next slide. There's also key trends. So if you just want to know overall what's going on in education, here would be some example of key trends in children and youth. Declining teen pregnancy rate, which we're seeing across the state, except for in a couple pockets by Niagara Falls. Higher rates of child poverty and single families relative to this stage. And that was what we talked about last month at the community roundtable, so that's no surprise. Huge issue, low rates of low birth weight babies and exposure among children to lead. So that's also going to tell you the key trends. County use. Funders are using this information to screen who they're giving their targeted resources to, whether it's the block grants for the city, United Way. Funders are interested in this information. It's also a really good source for people that want to write grants because you can prove that there is an issue in your community that you need to deal with. You can also look and see if it's better or worse than surrounding communities. So maybe you can get ideas or work together. And next slide. And who is using the website? We had 697 visits in the first quarter of 2013. 397 were unique. We do have some out-of-state views, as you can see, and about 5,000 page visits. I like this. The average visit was 7 minutes and 25 seconds. It's pretty good. And this is what they're interested in viewing, topic-wise, broken down. Children and youth being the number one, all the way down to health and safety. Other communities are using their community initiatives, community indicators as well. Oneida and Herkimer, they have a 25-25. They want to raise the number of people that are enrolled in four-year degree programs by 25% by the year 2025. And so what they did is they took community indicators information and they had a community conversation where they asked people from different sectors to come and work together on a plan to achieve this by 2025. Also Rochester, they let their community indicators data lead them. They noticed from that there was a lot of disparities based along race, racial inequality. When they looked at poverty, education achievement, there was division. So then again, a community conversation that they're in the middle of. How do we address that as a community and come together and solve that? And what we hope this is all leading up to is something that many nonprofits in the United Way are interested in, and that's those breakthrough opportunities, an effort to influence the community and do that problem solving when basic needs are met and basic services are delivered. So this is really the framework for thinking about ways that community resources can improve lives, map current investments, target future investments, and then line around a strategy for impact. And it really helps us define what resources are needed to support those strategies and communicate to everyone. So I'll just end with, if we want to flip to, you can flip by that. For more resources, there's a whole, next slide, there's a whole world where people are just interested in talking about this and crunching numbers and just kind of living in this all day. And it's the Community Indicators Consortium. So you can always go there. That'll tell you what other communities are doing as far as the CI project, and it also gives you a lot of good ideas on projects. And I'll just end briefly with a United Way update. We're going to be undergoing strategic planning in 2014. And we really currently let the community indicators guide us as far as our funding decisions. We would like to continue that and build on that. We're looking also for an increased community involvement. We have a community response fund that we are growing. We have right now proposals we're considering from Salvation Army, their Kettle Drive fell short, to St. Alfonso's Food Bank. They had a freezer malfunction, so being out in the community and being responsive, and also for looking for ways to be a conduit for this collaboration that can occur around the community indicators. And also becoming more aligned with the business community, helping stabilize the workforce, and many things around that. So that'll be going on in 2014. And that's all I have for today. Did we want to do?
Yeah, thank you, Carrie, and Dr. Larson, and Phoebe. We'd like to open it up for questions, right? So, if anyone has any questions for any of our panel members, please raise your hand. Yes?
I think I missed, who is it that chooses which indicators you're looking at? It sounds like that's important because there has to be money to provide that research.
That was a very interesting process that, from the United Way perspective, we worked through that as a part of the steering committee for the project, which involved several leaders civically across the entire community. Because we were dealing with a universe of, I think there were 200 or 300 potential indicators, and there was a basic cost for each indicator. And so we had budgetary constraints, and then also how could we identify those indicators that made best sense without overwhelming everyone with 200 or 300 of them. So we worked through it with the steering committee carefully. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of push and pull, and there still is conversation about, well, how about this one? You didn't choose this one, but you chose that one. Is this one more valid than that one? It's a very dynamic kind of conversation, and it's the kind of thing where I think no matter where you end up, someone's is not necessarily going to be happy by saying, well, you didn't choose the indicator that I think you should have chosen because it's meaningful to me. So it's a balance. They're trying to determine which ones would be of greatest use for the entire community and yet not focus everything in just a particular area.
Yes, Gwen?
Thank you. I guess I have a clarifying question. So this collection of data is on the website. Is it being proactively used, or is it sitting there just as a resource for an organization that might want to utilize the data? I'm coming from this context that in a lot of my client communities, they have indicators, and in some communities what I'm observing is that there is a champion of the data, so that there's either an agency, an organization that's proactively sort of identifying the top 3 indicators and then sort of pushing them out strategically into the community as a focus. And then other communities I work in, it's really there as a pool of resource. And I think my third interest in this is that I'm observing that the funding community is kind of requiring not-for-profit executives to become more skillful at the use of data. So I'm wondering how we're positioning the use of this data in our own community.
That is definitely something that we are hoping to build on for 2014, where we are starting more community conversations around our resources. We know now the usage rates. We've had informal discussions with people on how they're using it, but it does need to be more formalized, definitely.
And if I could just add to that, from a board perspective at the United Way, the board this information has been available for a couple of years now, and we've been using it to help guide us in the funding process. Moving forward, there's a shift in the way United Ways are functioning in small communities like ours and in larger communities throughout the state and throughout the country. So I think you're starting to see the model of your United Way change, and that's what we hope to see in the future here with the United Way of Cuyahoga County. We talk about this strategic planning process. Many organizations go through strategic planning and it creates results, and that's fine. We're looking at this strategic planning process to be a real game changer for your local United Way and the way that we operate, and provide an opportunity for change within the nonprofit community here, and we expect to be a leader in that change.
Two more comments, Gwen, that I might add to it. One is that many of these community indicator projects just present data and just leave it there, allowing people to try to make sense of it as best they can, to use it in ways that may be beneficial to them. Our site really does more than that, in that a couple of things are going on there. One is that there's some analysis that is presented. So it's not just data for the sake of data, but helping people understand what those data actually mean, and ways by which they might have some impact upon what their particular interests or projects might be. And then second, there are links for people who want to dig deeper, so that they aren't just limited to those data that are presented on that web page. But if they want to move on, say, to the New York State Department of Health website, they can actually dig deeper and find more, and go to a higher level than what the site might be able to utilize. Third thing is to couple that, for instance, with the foundation library that Jenny Kent has over at the Chamber of Commerce, and ways by which data and information that she has about funding sources can be moved together. That's something I think is really exciting in a community this size. I know Jenny has been busy with a number of presentations and workshops, seminars, clients coming to her who really didn't have much experience in that arena, and this website helps to support those efforts as well.
Other questions?
I just love the idea of the community response fund. Any certain time gaps do occur in a community, such as you mentioned. It's funny, would there be emergency funds, and how could you allocate or transfer those once it's implemented and turn your strategic plan?
So I think the question is, what is the process for applying for a community response fund?
Absolutely. Currently, we ask that you be a partner agency or work through a partner agency. So St. Alphonsus is not a partner agency, but they collaborated with a partner agency to have those funds requested for them. So that's encouraging more collaboration within the community, in addition to meeting an immediate need. And Tim also helps us out and serves on our FEMA committee. We have money from FEMA emergency food and shelter money that comes in and goes out into the community as well.
Other questions?
So when United Way looks to fund agencies, you obviously look at the indicators and see what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and then kind of align those agencies so that can educate your process and how you bring funding.
Absolutely. In the United Way funding application, the different agencies are actually using the community resource to make, community indicators to make their case for a need. And I saw that we also have a youth allocations panel at the United Way. And even though it wasn't in the grant, I actually saw grants come in where people were making cases for money through the youth allocations that is distributed by high schoolers as you know, the funding decisions are made. So I saw the community indicators used in the youth application, so that was really nice.
Any other questions? Yes.
Is it used for evaluation? The community indicators?
Program evaluation? It can be, yes. Not all programs would fit directly into that, and some would. Some are going to take time to move kind of the meter on. But yes, ideally, I think that is
So,
a direction we'd like to go.
well, my next question was, how long will you have your meter running?
Not
Some
long enough.
programs are
couple of years old, and so opportunity for a number of indicators to be updated, which is an ongoing challenge. And so how to evaluate using data that has currency that is meaningful rather than data that is out of date, that is 3 years old or 5 years old. It's an ongoing challenge, but also it's gaining experience and capacity, both as a United Way and also as our partner agencies, understanding that accountabilities for projects and funding, investing is crucial in terms of next steps. And as part of that nuance of changing from a funding agency to an investing agency, it's a different way of thinking about it, but it carries with it some real substance. Evaluation is crucial. It's a work in progress.
Did I miss a question over here?
I was going to ask how often it will be updated. Is there a built-in plan to update certain indicators annually or every 2 years, or?
Right now, the first time we updated it was after 2 years. We would like to update it in another 2 years. We've talked about funding as being something that needs to happen for us to be able to do that. The same thing with adding any additional indicators. We would need to secure funding to do that. So we updated in 2013. We'll look at updating again in 2015. That would be ideal. Yes.
What's the range of cost, minimum, maximum? I mean, within your wish list, not, we know that maximum is infinity, but.
The average cost for adding an indicator is anywhere from $500 to $700. It depends on the indicator and how much work it needs to be done. So, I mean, some would look at that as not a whole lot of money. And to update is something less than that per indicator to update. So it's, it's just a matter of, we updated 39 indicators this year. Why 39? We looked at some of the indicators and thought there probably wasn't going to be a heck of a lot of movement on those. We also looked at our budget and said, we can afford this many. We entered into this partnership with Seneca County United Way. They have been able to participate a little bit since we started, but they haven't been able to participate fully as they planned because they've run into some financial woes as well. So we've been kind of really carrying this on our own.
So quick math, the one Jake said it was about 10 grand?
Yep.
Vicki, at the opening of your remarks, you talked about the membership levels for the Human Services Coalition. Was the individual $10?
Yes.
And is that a way that we can support the Human Services Coalition just as individuals in the community, whether we're using the services or a member agency? Obviously, for a member agency, it's like 100, something like that, you said. So there's a range of.
Right. As a community member, it is a way to support the coalition and the activities. And also on the membership form that's up in front, it lists things that you would be entitled to receive.
Okay.
Okay. And then an organizational membership is $40.
Okay.
And then if you choose to be a supporting member, the average is about 100.
Okay, great.
Good. Other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank our panel members. Thank you for a great presentation, and I want to thank everyone for coming today. We have some time to get back together and talk. Do we have any announcements that we need to make?
I think if people would fill out the surveys on the round table, then if you're using the
Leave the name tags, is that it? Also, as Vicki said, she has some materials at the front desk, membership, and the community representative. Thank you.